Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a game on Seraph Palace. It's been quite some time. I've been feeling a need for a diversity. It's almost like I've been working for local government. So we've got some orcs being showcased today. Ooh, fancy that. And a nice thick orc. Very thick boy, wearing a lot of metal on his back today. Don't really know why so much of the metal is on his back as opposed to his front. Perhaps he's been getting backstabbed by a bunch of sneaky gits recently. Decided to wear a big metal box on his back instead. I don't know, I don't understand orc philosophy nor orc tech. It is what it is. We've got a thick war boss being played by Derwisch, and Rutank is back playing his force commander with his beautiful blue, well, black and blue space marines. Hopefully they're not feeling too black and blue after scrapping with these orcs. We'll see. Seraph Palace as well, pretty interesting map. I really do like this map. Again, suffers from kind of the problem that a lot of the maps made by Swift, the map maker, have, in that there's too many tank traps, which is annoying. Makes it not great for things like Razorbacks and Predators, but it's a cool map. Man, massive epic fail there by Derwisch. Well, actually, he did kill a tack, so actually, hang on. Yeah, he did lose more than the tack was worth, but only by a little bit. However, the problem is that he lost 3 squads. Ooh, and he put some of his upgrade money into burners early on. So now he's dropped the money to get this upgrade, but he lost the fight. So he lost the map control. Now, if he took more bleed there, but he actually forced the Space Marine away, then that'd be worth the extra 27 wreck for a boy, if you then cap all 5 of these points, right? And then you get the defender's advantage. The enemy has to come to you while you're already in cover, and you can position to just be in a better spot to win the next fight. He didn't, however. He was forced off, and that's pretty rough. Now, obviously, a big part of that was the fact that his war boss wasn't there in the fight, which was clearly intentional. I wouldn't do that, since the war boss early on is generally better than sluggers. Less DPS output, but a lot tankier, and he doesn't bleed. But obviously the strategy here was to get the burners up nice and early, probably push back the Space Marine with the burners, which came out too late, and then go for a gen farm bash. He tries to go for a bash anyway. He did about half the damage there of that power gen, but again, not really worth it. You know, his upgraded unit here is forced off, and he loses another model. But you know, this could be, those burners could instead be big shooters right now, which would help control the scouts and the force commander a lot better. As of right now, we've got shotguns coming out for the scouts, so the war boss is going to have to soft kite away. I have to assume Rutank is going for ASM right now, because he's not dropping down any more generators or getting devastators. He could be getting them out if he wanted devastators. Typically, devastators are pretty common against war boss. I think it's like 50-50, because ASM kind of struggle in melee against all the war boss things, and obviously they're useless against the war boss himself. Whereas the devastators can be nice to control the war boss, but the problem is devastators are heavy infantry, and it facilitates the war boss going storm boys, which he often wants to get anyway, because storm boys not only are a jump squad, but they do full power melee, so they can kill devastators extremely quick because of the power melee and onto heavy infantry interaction. I think it can still work. You've just got to play your devastators quite smart.
The orcs are taking one of our strategic points. Space Marines in the field. Adding power generator.
Okay, we are going to see the ASM as expected, and then the excess requisition could be dropped down onto a generator. I think that generator could have come down a little bit earlier when he opted to get the shotguns. That means that you now can drop another, you need to really drop another gen, because the shotguns disproportionately cost power, such that if you try and rush the ASM, you'll end up floating, and that's what happened. He had 200 rec left, so he could have easily dropped one of those gens a long time ago, probably 2, and it wouldn't have delayed his ASM much at all. Are we actually intentionally going to be seeing double storm boys? I have to assume not. If you were going to go for a 5-unit tier 1 here, you would probably get either looters Oh, well, you won't get looters now. There's ASM on out, but you'd go for Pain Boy. Okay, makes more sense. That was an Overwatch mistake. I say it's slightly weird that Derwisch just overwatched the Storm Boys. I guess the Storm Boys are kind of a no-brainer choice against Space Marines. Like, even if they go ASM, Storm Boys are never a bad thing. They have really good synergy in Tier 2 with the Death Dread, because, you know, missile attacks alone, not very good against the Death Dread. It's got too much HP, you can just run into the missile attacks, tie them from melee. So typically you'll see las cannons, but then if you have Storm Boys, they can control the las cannon while the Death Dread goes crazy, right? We'll see. It is going to be a really quick Tier 2, but this is going to be a massive fight. ASM getting quite lucky there, proccing 2 specials very swiftly as they move in. This is beautiful engagement. Now activates the battle cry whilst the FC is in combat. ASM probably want to jump back onto the Storm Boys. Ooh, very aggressive to jump forward with the ASM. Slugger Boys microed though. They didn't attack the ASM. They right-clicked near them and walked past them and basically gave away loads of hits. And in fact, they go down because during that entire engagement, you've got to remember the entire Space Marine army's damage was being buffed every single time the FC procced those specials. That was a beautifully handled engagement there by Rutank. I do think it was a mistake for the ASM to jump forward there, but hilariously, that so-called mistake probably worked out in his favour because Derwisch then messed up and misclicked his sluggers and lost them. The sluggers should have killed at least 1 ASM model, perhaps 2, before retreating out. But there you go. VP's soundly in Derwisch's favour, and he's got that tech lead. Now he needs to make use of it. Really sucks for him to lose the sluggers since they were upgraded as well. And he's got tier 2 as well now, and you all know that sluggers in tier 2 are insane. Double big shooters out now. That's going to put a lot of pressure on the scouts. Probably going for some sort of foot grenade there, but yeah, calls it off. Good idea, because honestly, if they hung around for a few more, well, probably 1 more second, they'd have been dead from the choppers. A little bit of float here from Rutank. Yeah, and he is going to replace his sluggers. Fair enough, that's a repair unit for your Death Dread. Could have got Gretchens, but he wants the melee presence. Expensive though, to get the burners and the slugger knob on them. And if you don't get the burners and slugger knob, I'd just have got Gretchen because it's cheaper on upkeep, cheaper on wreck as well. But now he's upgrading them. He's getting the knob. No upgrades for the heroes yet. No. FC can delay for a little bit here. Probably wants to knock over the slugger knob and then get out of there. He needs to get out of there, yeah. Slugger knob is a scary guy. ASM want to jump out of here. They retreat for it. Probably going to lose this model again. Derwisch just stops attacking them. Why does he do that? That's really annoying to see. He could have definitely killed that model there. Very poor from Derwisch. I don't know why he keeps misclicking with his sluggers. Wow, these I did not know that the model on the slugger knob here was changed for this skin. That is very cool. Look at this. The zappy saber that this slugger knob's wielding. Now, you wouldn't be surprised that that thing does fucking 70 DPS power melee. It looks absolutely terrifying. Like an orc power sword. Jeez. Alright, no ASM Sergeant yet, so this is going to go pretty badly again. I don't really know what's going on there. Very optimistic jump. And yeah, we see the missile attack, but good for Rutank to just retreat straight out, because obviously it's just going to get tied up by the Death Dread, can't do anything. FC honestly has been putting in some work. Probably want to see some... Oh, beautiful grenade there, fuck me. They just walked right on top of it. Haha, kills the Stormboy knob as well. Now, it does bleed a lot of models for it. Burners might be able to kill another. Very close. 11 HP over 2 models. A bit of a weird rampage there from the Death Dread. Don't really understand that. Doesn't make sense. What are you doing? You're rampaging into the base. Derwisch is throwing his Death Dread right now for no apparent reason. Because he wants to kill one generator. Come on, get out of here, man. Okay, he isn't intentionally throwing it. He wants to get it out now, but now we've got For the Emperor on the Tactical Space Marines. They're going to be doing a lot of damage. But aiming what's that is used by the Shooter Boys. Going to suppress them. That probably will save the Death Dread, I think. One more missile is going to kill it before the Emperor. Oh, he kills it. Ha! You know what? That was really deserved. I have to say. The strategic plays here by Derwisch have been very lacking. To waste your escape ability in Rampage. So Rampage, if you don't know, you click the ability and your Death Dread gets a big speed boost. So if you're ahead in tech, you can use it to just charge aggressively at the enemy gen farm and wipe their gens before they have a counter. But then after you've done that once, you generally reserve Rampage for either killing an enemy vehicle or for escaping. He used Rampage and then just walked into the enemy tax. Absolutely ridiculous. Mess around with the enemy tax if you want to delay them for a little bit and gonna just suck it up and take the repairs later. But save your Rampage to get out. Anyway, ASM trying a little bit of an engagement there, and the ASM will win if they get the jump on the Slugger Boys to knock them over, and then they use Merciless Strike as well. However, if they use your choppers, there's no chance. You just got to get out of there. So that's what Derwisch did there, and the ASM have to run. The problem here for Rutank is that he's just so exceptionally far behind in tech, and it's resulting in him struggling with the engagements quite a lot because he doesn't have the upgrades he needs. He doesn't have the Thunder Hammer on the Force Commander, he doesn't have any sort of durability upgrade on the Force Commander. Well, he does have Power Fist now. Yeah, but still no Iron Halo, no Artificer Armor, no Sergeants here on the Tactical Space Marines, and no Stern Guard. And all of that combines to mean he's going to have a lot tougher of a time dealing with the Storm Boys and the Slugger Boys now that they've got their knobs. See that Cyborg implant there? Putting in work. And once again, the Scouts doing really well against the Storm Boys. Super cost inefficient trade here. Storm Boys should be able to rout the Scouts with ease, but of course, if you eat a grenade to the face, that's not going to happen. And also if you don't have a counter to the garrisons. So there you go. Scouts countering the Storm Boys there. 4 dead Storm Boy models.
We shall make it so.
I mean, this is how Rutank gets back into the game. All the while, secondary Scouts unupgraded, just capping the map, doing what they can. I mean, there's going to have to be a lot of capping though. He's super far behind on VPs at this point.
Bring forth the Artificer's armor.
So we can hear him now going for that Artificer's armor. It's good. Yeah, a little bit slow in the reaction there. Does lose a Scout rather unnecessarily. Not a huge deal. Where's all of his money going then? Okay, here we go. We've got Stern Guard coming out. We don't have a Sergeant here for these attacks. Probably is worth it. It is a little bit of power, 20 power, but it's a nice amount of extra HP and a good amount of damage both in melee and ranged. Not to mention that ability in They Shall Know No Fear is very handy if the Orcs are relying on melee to beat you. I'm curious to see what Derwisch's next unit choice is going to be. It's kind of tricky to say, to be honest. I am tempted to say something like a Weird Boy would be good, but the problem is it would kind of set him up to be countered by a Dreadnought. So he's going to go for the rather ballsy play of tier 3, which I guess it's fine. Like, it doesn't feel like there's a great choice in tier 2. It feels like he's going to be stuck. If he goes for tier 2 units, he's going to be stuck in tier 2 facing superior compositions from the Space Marine. So we'll have to see. He is going to go for tier 3. He's got the VPs to kind of play with it. He's not in a rush to be winning fights. He can rat a bit. There's been no pressure on his power farm from Rutank. So I guess all in all, it kind of does set him up for a decent little position, but we'll see how it does. It is allowing Rutank to get all these upgrades for his economy to recover. I would like to see Rutank try and pressure that gen farm, especially with his missile tactical space marines. Here they are. They can just pop down here and start destroying these generators very fast. Don't really need them in the fights. I do find it very interesting that Rutank went for the Power Fist and not the Thunder Hammer. There is, of course, no vehicle threat on the field right now. The Thunder Hammer would be way better against all this melee, since it has that 360 AoE knockback. Okay, it'd be knocking everything over right now, it'd be beautiful. Then the Stern Guard can just output their DPS, but the Power Fist... The specials on the Power Fist mostly just miss if the enemy isn't actually targeting the Force Commander, and of course they're not going to be targeting the Force Commander. The Orcs want to get rid of the Marines with their bolters here. As I said, the Marines are super tanky, level 3 over here on the Tactical Space Marines. We do see use the choppers and Ard Boys coming out here on the Storm Boys. That's going to make them quite threatening, but the Force Commander's still around. Now, one thing you've got to admit with the Force Commander, his actual Power Fist, it does more DPS than the Thunderhammer and more DPH, so it's very good at actually bleeding models with its basic attacks. But the lack of nice 360 specials means its control against blobs of melee, not so good. And certainly if you get hit by a special from some Yuji Chopper Storm Boys, you got to get out of there pretty quick. Unless you got your Iron Halo. One thing I will notice there is he activated the Iron Halo, then activated Battlecry and drained 50 of his Iron Halo instantly. Activate Battlecry, let your energy recharge, then activate the Iron Halo after. Because you don't regen energy whilst the Iron Halo is up, right? Just take HP damage initially, then turn on the Halo. Once the Halo is regened a bit. I mean, it's not a major thing, but you know, it might give you an extra 100 HP or so. Because essentially, when the Halo is up, you're losing energy, but you get an opportunity to regen HP. And likewise, when you're losing HP, you're regenning energy because the shield is down. So you wanna flip them at all times. You don't want to be in a position where you're using the shield when you're full HP, and you don't want to be in a position where you're not regenning energy when you're full HP. What just wiped there? The shooters, because Derwisch is, like myself, not really paying much attention. I guess he was focusing over this side, there was a little bit of an engagement, forced off these sluggers here, but not paying attention to the Force Commander. To be fair, nor is Rutank right now. Rutank is busy microing the Marines in the mid. You can see how well they're doing, they're just so friggin' tanky. And this is only level 1 Stern Guard too, but I guess part of the problem is it's also only level 1 Storm Boys. Now we see the Tactical Marine Sergeant, so that would have been a lot of extra DPS right there. But yeah, this is my worry. There is now a Dreadnought on the field, and Derwisch is going for the knobs, the mighty knobs. But, yeah, I don't know how mighty knobs are against a Dreadnought. Well, I do, they're not that mighty. Knobs fully upgraded will beat the Dreadnought, but it's not an easy fight at all. And the problem is that the Dreadnought keeps proccing things like special attacks, which will send the knobs flying. Obviously, he's got the Emperor's Fist, AoE, knockback and stun. That will delay things, and while these delays are occurring, by the way, these knobs look absolutely badass, you've got to admit. I don't know what skin this is, but it looks really cool. While all that delaying is happening in the fight, obviously the Space Marines are pew-pewing your knobs. Then the Scouts run over, the Scouts do some knockback with their explosive shot. I mean, you can imagine, right, how difficult this can be for the knobs. They need support. Now, they do have the Power Claw Warboss, that's okay, but he could also very well find himself disrupted by the exact same tools that the knobs can. Knobs right now do have the huge hammers. There is obviously support potential from the globals of the Warboss, but I do note that there is actually no red at the moment for Derwisch. We do have fully upgraded Knob Squad. So again, Thunderhammer right now would make all of this trivial to defeat, because it would knock them all over constantly. Probably going to lose the Warboss here. Yeah, a bit of an optimistic stomp. However, we need to get some disruption. Why is there no shotgun blast? Oh no, Rutank, what are you doing? Just throws away his Dreadnought. There was a potential there for a merciless strike from the ASM to knock over the knobs. There is shotgun scouts just standing here, not shotgun blasting. I don't know why, I don't know what's going on, but Derwisch obviously overestimating the power of his knobs here. The knobs are going to wipe. The knobs are going to wipe. You've got damage over time from the Stern Guard, you've got the grenade that landed perfectly, and you've got the power of the super high damage per hit Power Fist on the Force Commander. Yeah, Derwisch just expecting nobs to solo armies. Classic noob mistake. I mean, look, the nobs there did take out the Dreadnought, which was actually a massive error from Rutank. They shouldn't. And again, I can't stress how the Thunderhammer would have trivialized this entire game, for sure. Everything Derwisch has been relying on was melee. He had no counter to the Thunderhammer. He had double shooter boys with big shooters, but they were never in the correct positions, and they weren't even upgraded. You have ASM, you have Stern Guard, you can kill these shooters, no problem.
Our force commander has reached level 6.
Oh, I don't know if Rutank's realised this though. Use your choppers has been used on the sluggers, and they are using their choppers very well. This slugger knob using his saber, whatever the fuck that thing is. Now that's going to be a wipe on the ASM, which is kind of actually a huge loss, because not only is that a powerful melee squad that Rutank has now lost, it's also something that can help with his mobility. And he needs that because he's still down on the VP somehow, but probably not for too long, as he does have a 2-0 cap. Warbus is in the middle right now, securing that middle VP, trying to turn it into a 2-1 cap. Rutank needs to turn off the halo there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think, wow, if this Force Commander right now had a Thunderhammer, things would be different. Still, for the Emperor on the Force Commander, making that Power Fist do ungodly amounts of damage. Oh my god, look at the damage. He is level 6 at this point, so yeah, that's pretty spooky. Even the special attack is doing about 130 damage. The Warbus is gonna die! He's gonna die! He's dead! Derwisch getting beaten up in melee by the Force Commander. You kinda love to see it. An Orc player who just moves his melee into the opponents and expects to win, because hey, that's what Orcs are good at, right? But I don't know, man. I'm not seeing much strategy here from Derwisch. Like, what was that? Slugger Boy's super late to the party, just expecting the Warboss to win, even though he's failed to do so many times in a row now. Yeah, losing the nobs was definitely the nail in the coffin. I mean, like I said, Rutank fucked up anyway, because yeah, he let him kill the Dreadnought, which was super unnecessary. I mean, you had Merciless Strike, and you had a Shotgun Blast as well. Crazy. Like Rutank says, all he had to do was retreat as soon as he killed the Dreadnought, and then come back with full HP nobs. And he'd have been in a bloody good position. He's going to try and play it out. He's going for a second nob squad, but I think Rutank should know not to make that same mistake. I mean, sending the Dreadnought solo against the nobs is not really a good idea. They will lose. You beat the nobs so easily if you have fire support to help your Dreadnought whilst it's CCing them. But in a big, long melee slug, it doesn't favour the Dreadnought. And the problem is, of course, the Dreadnought can't retreat either, whereas nobs can. But clearly Derwisch is struggling with the scouts on the sidelines as well. I keep looking over to Stormboys and seeing Stormboys on half HP because they encountered one squad of scouts, which doesn't really make any sense. I don't think he's got Bomber Boys. He probably should consider getting Bomber Boys. One good use of Bomber Boys when the scouts are running away. Oh, this is dirty. Oh, for God's sake. He's not watching. He's just sending the nobs forward, and you can see now, that's another thing I was going to say earlier. You just swap out the missile launcher for a plasma gun. Kraken rounds, because nobs are heavy infantry and the nobs are gonna just get wrecked. The nobs right now should be focusing on the plasma attacks, not the Dreadnought. The plasma attacks are doing a lot more damage than the Dreadnought is to them. But yeah, this is just mindless Orc play. He doesn't understand strategy. He just buys melee squads and throws them at the enemy. I mean, yeah, it's something. It's I guess this is gonna have to be a sloppy Saturdays, isn't it? God damn it. Too much sloppy, too much sloppy. Where are all the good Orc players at? Please, guys, I want more Orc gameplay, but I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of missing some. Almost makes me want to boot up some orcs, but you know I don't want to really do that. Come on guys, find some good orc replays and send me them in my Discord, which incidentally is linked down below. Thank you for tuning in, folks. That is going to be all you're getting from your boy Torpid this time. Torpid signing out.